जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदनंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदनंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। यशोदनंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। यमुना तीरवनचारी यमुना तीरवनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा श्याम सुंदर राधे। जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा श्याम सुंदर राधे। जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरण अरविंद भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी प्रभुपाद की। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर प्रभुपाद की। नामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की। ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की। पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की। गंगामयी की यमुनामयी की भक्ति देवी की तुलसी देवी की कलियुग पावन हरिनाम संकीर्तन की। हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की। All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Hare Krishna. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 74, entitled The Deliverance of Shishupal, text number 4. नह्येकस्याद्वितीयस्य ब्रह्मणः परमात्मनः कर्मभिर्वर्धते तेजो ह्रसते च यथा रवेः। नह्येकस्याद्वितीयस्य ब्रह्मणः परमात्मनः कर्मभिर्वर्धते तेजो ह्रसते च यथा रवेः। नह्येकस्याद्वितीयस्य ब्रह्मणः परमात्मनः कर्मभिर्वर्धते तेजो ह्रसते च यथा रवेः। नह्येकस्याद्वितीयस्य ब्रह्मणः परमात्मनः निर्वर्धते तेजो माताजीस। नह्येकस्याद्वितीयस्य ब्रह्मणः परमात्मनः कर्मभिर्वर्धते तेजो ह्रसते च यथा रवेः। नह्येकस्याद्वितीयस्य ब्रह्मणः परमात्मनः कर्मभिर्वर्धते तेजो ह्रसते च यथा। न, not, he, indeed, ekasya, of the one, advitiyasya, without a second, brahmanaha, the absolute truth, paramatmanaha, the supreme soul, karmabhihi, by activities, vardhate, increases, tejaha, the power, hrasate, diminishes, cha, and yatha, as raveh, of the sun. Translation and purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. But of course, the power of the absolute truth, the supreme soul, the primeval one without a second, is neither increased nor diminished by his activities, any more than the sun's power is by its movements. Purport. Śrīla Prabhupāda writes in Kṛṣṇa, King Yudhiṣṭhira said, "Your real position is always exalted, exactly like that of the sun, which always remains at the same temperature both during the time of its rising and the time of its setting. Although we feel the difference in temperature between the rising and setting sun, the temperature of the sun never changes. You are always transcendently equipoised, and thus you are neither pleased nor disturbed by any condition of material affairs. You are the Supreme Brahman, the personality of Godhead, and for you there are no relativities." Srila Sridhara Swami quotes a similar statement from the Vedic mantras, "Na karmana vardhate no kaniyan." He is not increased by his activities, nor does he become lesser. As explained here by King Yudhiṣṭhira, the Lord is one without a second. There is no other entity in his supreme category, and thus it is simply by His causeless mercy that He agrees to carry out the orders of His pure devotees, like Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj. There is certainly no loss of status for the Supreme Personality of Godhead when He thus extends His causeless mercy to His surrendered devotees. Om Ajnanatimmirandhasya Gnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroh Shri Yutapadakammalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Kṛṣṇa Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Kṛṣṇa Karuna Sindho Dīnabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti-vedanta Swamin iti namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. I offer my humble obeisances to all the devotees we have assembled here for today morning Bhagavatam class in Shri Vrindavan Dham. I offer my obeisances to all the senior Vaishnavas sitting here, many sannyasis and Prabhupada disciples are sitting here. Mataji, Maharaj, with your blessings, I would like to share a few thoughts on this shloka from the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. It's a great fortune to discuss Srimad Bhagavatam in such a holy dham, in the association of so many devotees. And we got entrance into this privilege of discussing Harikatha in a holy dham in line with the parampara only by the mercy of Śrīla Prabhupāda. Śrīla Prabhupāda brought Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy to even the most unqualified people also. In fact, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission is to give Krishna prema to even to the most unqualified people. Patra vicharanam na kurute nasvam param vikshate. Acharyas glorify that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu patra apatra vicharanam na kurute. Who is qualified and who is not qualified? He doesn't have discrimination. Carrying the same mood, several acharyas in the line of Gaudiya Vaishnava Parampara and Śrīla Prabhupāda. So he has brought Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy to every nook and corner of this world. I thought before even entering this beautiful episode of Srimad Bhagavatam, we must thank and express our profuse gratitude to His divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who carried Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy everywhere. Prabodhananda Saraswati says, Prema namadbhutarthaha Shravanapathagatah kasya namna mahimnaha Ko vetta kasya vrinda vanavipinamaha madhurishu praveshaha Ko va janati radham paramarasa chamatkara madhurya simam Ekas chaitanya chandraha Paramakarunaya sarvamāviṣķakara. He says, Prema namadbhutartha. The adbhuta artha, the most wonderful goal of life is prema. Kṛṣṇa prema. Prema nama adbhuta artha. The most wonderful goal of human life is prema, Kṛṣṇa prema. Who taught us? Who taught that this is your goal to this whole world? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Prema namadbhutartha shravanapathagataha kasya namnamahimnaha. How to attain this goal of life, Kṛṣṇa prema? By Kṛṣṇa nama. Who distributed the holy name of Kṛṣṇa? Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally chanted the holy names of Kṛṣṇa and taught all of us how to chant the holy names of Kṛṣṇa through his empowered representatives, and is trying to enable us to attain Kṛṣṇa prema. That's all Lord Chaitanya's grace. Lord Chaitanya's grace gave us nama and prema. Shravanapathagataha kasya namnamahimnaha ko vetta kasya Vrindavanavipinamaha madhurishu praveshaha. If Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's grace is not there, who would have ever got entrance into this nectarian mellows of Vrindavan Dham? Mahaprabhu gave us entrance into Vrindavan also. Kovetta kasya Vrindavana vipinamaha madhurishu praveshaha. Who could have ever got entrance into the nectarian mellows of Vrindavan Dham without Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's grace? Ko va janati radham paramarasa chamatkara madhurya simam. Who would have ever understood that Srimati Radharani is parama rasa chamatkara madhurya simam? Madhurya is the nectarian mellow of Madhurya Rasa, in which a devotee loves Kṛṣṇa. And Srimati Radharani is the Madhurya Sima, the limit of that nectarian mellow of Madhurya Prema. Ko va janati radham. Who would have ever understood Srimati Radharani's position? Parama rasa chamatkara madhurya simam. Who would have ever understood Srimati Radharani's position as the supreme limit of Madhurya Prema towards Kṛṣṇa? If Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has not bestowed his grace. So Mahaprabhu has given us Nama, Prema, Vrindavan Dhama, and explained to us the glory of Srimati Radharani. Ekas Chaitanya Chandraha Paramakarunaya Sarvamāviṣķakaraha. It's one and only Chaitanya Chandra with Parama Karuna, with great compassion, is bestowing this grace, these four transcendental gifts upon people of Kali Yuga. I was just recollecting this shloka as I was standing in front of Gauranga altar this morning after a long time in Vrindavan Dham. So with this expression of gratitude to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Śrīla Prabhupāda, let's try to meditate on this shloka for the next few minutes. Here, Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj is speaking. Nahi ekasya advitiyasya. Ekasya means the Lord is one and only one. There is no replica for the Lord. So this is a glorification of the Supreme Lord Kṛṣṇa. Advitiyasya. Dvitiya means second. The Lord is one without a second. There is no replica for the Lord. You cannot find anyone who is equal to Kṛṣṇa or superior to Kṛṣṇa. Therefore, he is called asamordhva. There is no one equal to Kṛṣṇa, or there is no one superior to Kṛṣṇa. Asamordhva. So, ekasya advitiyasya. Then Brahmanaha Paramatmanaha. He is the Supreme Brahman. He is also Paramatma. He is Bhagavan. So, Bhagavan, Paramatma and Brahman are the three features of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam says, Vadanti tat tattvavidah tattvam yajnanamadvayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti shabdyate. So, Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan are all his features, Kṛṣṇa's features. Then, karma bhir vardhate tejo hrasate cha yatha ravehe. Karma bhir. What is karma? Karma is activity.
And karma can also mean reaction to an action. Karma is action. Karma is also reaction to an action. So this kind of definitions are relevant in the case of conditioned souls. In the case of conditioned souls, karma is action, karma is reaction, karma is fruitive action, karma is prescribed action, karma is whole chain of actions and reactions. There are 5 ways in which the word karma can be explained in the context of conditioned souls. But in Krishna's case, what is karma? In Krishna's case, karma is lila. What is Krishna's karma? What is Krishna's activity? To perform loving pastimes with his devotees. So when Krishna performs so many pastimes, karma, so many karmas, they are not karmas like the conditioned souls. They are like pure spiritual activities. And these karmas of Krishna, or these activities or pastimes of Krishna, constitute multiple flavors. As Krishna said, paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Paritranaya sadhunam. One activity, one karma of Krishna is to protect righteous people, devotees. Second, vinashaya cha dushkritam. Second activity is to punish miscreants, demoniac people. Third, to establish dharma. These are the karmas of Krishna. To establish dharma is Krishna's karma. Karma means his activity, his action, his lila, his pastime. Right? Generally, when we do some karma, when we do some activity, physical activity, we get little tired, exhausted. Sometimes we may get bored also. Same activity every day I am doing. Sometimes we may get bored also. When a conditioned soul involves oneself in multiple activities, the conditioned soul may incur some reaction if it is material activity. Secondly, physically one may get exhausted, mentally one may get exhausted, and internally one may get tired or bored. But when Krishna is doing all these karmas, tejo hrasate, his teja, his power is never diminished. Is never increased also. Right? So in our case, there is an increase and decrease of power and strength. But in Krishna's case, there is no increase or decrease in. There is no vardhate, there is no hrasate. There is no scope of vardhate. How can Krishna's power increase? He is the limit of all power. Still it can increase as a part of pastime. Krishna, as time progresses, Krishna is becoming more and more stronger as a part of Leela. In that sense, Krishna's increase of power is a part of his pastime sometimes, but actually there is no scope for increase in Krishna's case. He is the limit of all power. He is complete in all opulences. So we have something and we can increase that power little bit by doing some endeavor. But Krishna is the limit of everything, and where is the scope of increasing? And where is the scope of diminishing? So there is no scope of hrasate or vardhate. And an example is given, yatha ravehe. Ravi means sun. So as we were coming from Govardhan Retreat Center to Krishna Balaram Temple, on the way in the vehicle, we saw sun is rising. Very beautiful orange circle. Very, very nice. But this is not scorching sun. Very soothing rays of sun, because he's just rising. We just saw the sunrise. But at 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, especially on a summer day, the sun is scorching. We can't even see. Even for a few seconds also. Even for 1 second we can't see. Now you may say that sun's light is increasing. From sunrise to midday to sunset, there is an increase and diminution of sun's rays or sunshine. One may think like that. Yeah, from our perspective, yes, it's increasing and decreasing. But from sun's perspective, he's of the same temperature. Prabhupada very beautifully writes here. So, Prabhupada's Krishna book, one passage from Krishna's book is quoted here. So, sun's temperature will not increase or decrease. It's constant. But depending on where we stand, we see his temperature increasing or decreasing. Depending on what is the season. Early mornings in winter are very cold. And during the days it's very pleasant. But during summer days, throughout the day when one feels intense heat. So in monsoon, sun is kind of covered by clouds only. So sun is not undergoing any transformations. But depending on where we stand, we are experiencing different gradations of sun's temperature. But there is no diminution or increase in sun's temperature from his standpoint. Similarly, Kṛṣṇa also, there is no increase or decrease in his power. He may utilize his power to perform so many pastimes. Apparently, we may think that his power is increasing or decreasing. One may think like that. But there is no increase or diminution of Krishna's power because he is Eka, one and only personality. There is no one as equal, as powerful as him. Advitiyasya, there is no replica only. Right? So, Prabhupada writes in the 3rd canto, 7th chapter. Very beautiful. 3rd canto, 2nd chapter, 7th shloka. Purport. Prabhupada says, Prabhupada compares Krishna's appearance and disappearance with sunrise and sunset. When sun rises in the east, that's not the birth of the sun. When sun sets in the west, it's not the death of the sun. Sun is just making his movement. Depending on where you stand, you are seeing that sun is taking birth or sun is dying. A naive person may think like that. And when sun is setting in a hilly area, you feel like sun is going behind the hills, or going behind the trees, or going into the ocean, into the sea or into the river. One may think like that from one's perspective. But sun is not taking birth or sun is not dying. Similarly, Kṛṣṇa appears once in a day of Brahma. That is not exactly Krishna's birth. You may call it birth. It seems like that. Kṛṣṇa himself also says, Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tattvataha. He says, Janma is divyam. Janma means birth. My birth is divyam. Actually, it's not birth, it's appearance. So Kṛṣṇa appears on this planet to perform some pastimes for some years during once in a day of Brahma, and he concludes his pastimes. So when Kṛṣṇa appears as the son of Mother Devaki and Father Vasudeva in Mathura prison cell, it's not exactly birth of Kṛṣṇa. It seems like birth, but it's not exactly birth. It is appearance, or it is the beginning of Kṛṣṇa's pastimes on this planet. And when Kṛṣṇa disappears, it is not death, it is the conclusion of Kṛṣṇa's pastimes. So that's the significance of the word Ravehi in this shloka. So Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj is beautifully glorifying Kṛṣṇa in this way. Now, common people cannot understand that. They may think that Kṛṣṇa's power is increasing or decreasing, or Kṛṣṇa is also subjected to birth and death. Kṛṣṇa is also like an ordinary human being. Common people think like that. Kṛṣṇa also said in this Bhagavad-Gita, he said, Namam dushkriti no mudha prapadyante naradamaha. Then he also said that mudhoyam na bhijanati. Mudhas cannot understand the divinity of my activities or appearances or karmas or janmas. One cannot understand. So just because common people are unable to understand Kṛṣṇa's activities, and common people are considering Kṛṣṇa's activities to be mundane or materialistic or ordinary, that does not make Kṛṣṇa's activities ordinary. That does not, just because somebody is thinking like that, that will not become true. So why common people cannot understand the divinity of Kṛṣṇa's activities? Because they are covered by Maya. Mother Kunti says in the 1st canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 8th chapter, Kunti Maharani says that Maya javanika-channam ajnādhokṣajam-avyayam na lakshyase mūಢadrishāh nato natyadharo yatha. Maya javanika-channam. Maya is the illusory energy of Kṛṣṇa. Javanika is a curtain. So Maya javanika achannam, the vision of a conditioned soul is covered by the curtain of Maya. So when it is covered, you cannot see properly, depending on the thickness of the covering. If it is a little transparent, you can see something little bit. It is like so thick, it's totally dark, you cannot see anything. So different conditioned souls are covered by thick layers of ignorance and Maya and false ego. To the degree one's consciousness is covered by thick layers of Maya, Ahankar and Tamas, and ignorance, to that degree it becomes difficult for them to understand the divinity of Krishna's janmas and karmas. Karma bhir vardhate. So people may consider Krishna's karmas as ordinary. Maya javanika channam agna adhokshajam avyayam. Adhokshaja means one who is beyond sense perception. Aksha means eyes. Akshaja means that which is born out of eyes. What is born out of eyes? Tears? No. That which is born out of eyes is knowledge. Right? That is called Akshaja. Why? That which is born out of eyes is knowledge? How does it make sense when my question? Basically, we have two types of senses. One type is Gnanendriyas, second type is Karmendriyas. Karmendriyas are working senses, Gnanendriyas are knowledge acquiring senses. So whenever my eyes see some object, that vision is giving me some knowledge. That sense perception is giving me some knowledge. So when I see something, I get some knowledge. When I hear something, I get some knowledge. When I touch something, I get some knowledge. When I smell something, I get some knowledge. When I taste something, I get some knowledge. So all these five senses, when they interact with the sense objects, so this sense perception is definitely giving us either some happiness or distress or heat or cold, but it is also giving us some knowledge. So Akshaja means that knowledge which is born out of sense perception. That is called Akshaja. Adhokshaja means one who is beyond sense perception. Means you can acquire knowledge of material things by bringing your Gnanendriyas in contact with the Vishayas, with the sense objects, but you cannot acquire knowledge of Krishna by bringing your material senses in contact with sense objects. Therefore, Krishna is called Adhokshaja. He is beyond sense perception. You cannot acquire the spiritual knowledge about Krishna's Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela just by exercising your senses, just by bringing your senses in contact with the material objects, material sense objects. However, if we engage these very material senses in a spiritual way, in spiritual activities, definitely we can acquire knowledge about Krishna. So just by bringing material senses in contact with material objects with a material thought and material consciousness, we will not understand Krishna. But by engaging these material senses in spiritual activities in the service of Krishna, we will get knowledge of Krishna. You want proof? There is a shloka. Sevon mukhe jihvadau swayameva spuratyada. This beautiful shloka is an explanation of the word Adhokshaja in one sense. Right? Ataha Sri Krishna namadi na bhaved grahyam indriyaihi sevon mukhe jihvadau swayameva spuratyada. Ataha Sri Krishna namadi. You cannot understand Krishna's Nama. Nama Adi means Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela. You cannot understand Krishna's Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela by your Indriyas, by your Gnanendriyas or any Indriyas. Ataha Sri Krishna Namadi na bhaved grahyam indriyaihi. But Sevan mukhehi jihvado. If you engage these very senses in seva of Krishna, beginning with tongue, jihvado, jihva is tongue, then swayameva spuratyada, Krishna will reveal himself to us completely. Yeah, this is understanding about my Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela. So this is the divinity of my karma and janma. Krishna will reveal everything to us to the degree we engage these senses in Krishna's service. This is called sadhana bhakti. Sadhana bhakti, according to the definition given by Rupa Goswami in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, is to engage your senses in Krishna's service so that you develop emotions for Krishna, bhava for Krishna. Bhava is the result of sadhana. Namani pranayena te sukrutinam tanvanti tundotsavam dhamani prathayanti hanta jalada shyamani netranjanam samani shruti shaskuli muralika jatanyalankurvate kamani vrita chetasami habibho nashami nashobhate. Namani pranayena te sukritinam tanvanti tundotsavam. If at all we have some good fortune, sukriti, we chant the Nama. Namani pranayenate. With enthusiasm, with love, we chant the holy names of Kṛṣṇa. Namani pranayenate sukrutinam. Then tanvanti tundotsvam, a devotee, when he or she is chanting the holy names of Kṛṣṇa, ideally they are supposed to experience that this holy name of Kṛṣṇa is dancing on my tongue, tunda, that is like utsavam for me. To be able to utter the holy names of Kṛṣṇa is tundosam, is a celebration, is a great joy for the tongue. It's a great festival for the tongue. So when we engage our jihva, our tongue, with enthusiasm in glorifying Kṛṣṇa, in doing Kṛṣṇa Sankirtanam, then Kṛṣṇa will reveal himself to us. Namani pranayena te sukrutinam tanvanti tundotsavam dhamani prathayanti hanta jalada shyamani netranjanam. Dhamani. When you look at Kṛṣṇa, Radha Shyam Sundar, in that corner of the altar, Radha Shyam Sundar, that beautiful form, that blackish form of Shyam Sundar is the real Netranjanam. It's like the ointment for the eye, the real decoration for the eye. The real decoration for the tongue is Kṛṣṇa's name. The real decoration for the eye is Kṛṣṇa's form. Dhamani prathayanti hanta jalada shyamani netranjanam. Shyamani netranjanam. And Brahma Samhita goes one step ahead. Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena santas sadaiva hridayeshu vilokayanti yam shyama sundaram achintya gunasvarupam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. So when we look at Kṛṣṇa, Hare Krishna, I see blessings of Mukundat Prabhu. So we were discussing this beautiful shloka, that for a devotee, chanting the holy name of Kṛṣṇa is the decoration for the tongue, and looking at the beautiful deity form of Kṛṣṇa, Shyam Sundar, is the decoration for the eye. Dhamani prathayanti hanta jalada shyamani netranjanam samani shruti saskuli muralika jatanyalankurvate. The real decoration for the eye, for the ear, is Kṛṣṇa's flute song. For very advanced devotees, but for us Kirtan, Harinam Sankirtan, our sincere glorification of Kṛṣṇa's Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela is the decoration for the ear, not the different other decorations. The real decoration is Kṛṣṇa's holy name, Kṛṣṇa Katha. Real decoration for the ear is Kṛṣṇa Katha, Kṛṣṇa Nam. Real decoration for the tongue is Kṛṣṇa Katha, again Kṛṣṇa Nam. Real decoration for the eye is Kṛṣṇa's form. Kama nivrita chetasami havibho nashami nashobhate. If only a sadhaka engages all one's senses in Kṛṣṇa's service in this way, if one tries to bring one's senses in contact with different spiritual sense objects, for the eye, the real, for the ear, for the nose, the real sense object is this flower garland offered to the Lord. Yes, this is the real sense object. Mahaprasad of Kṛṣṇa. Then we can conquer Maya. Who says this? Uddhava says this in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Uddhava says that when we honor the paraphernalia enjoyed by Kṛṣṇa, Tava mayam jayemahi, we can easily conquer Maya. Tvayopabhrukta sraggandha vaso lankara charchitaha uchishtadasino bhogaihi Tava mayam jayemahi. Tvayopabhukta sraggandha. Srag means garlands. Gandha means this fragrance or sandalwood pulp offered to Kṛṣṇa. Tvayopa bhukta sraggandha. Upabhukta means Kṛṣṇa has enjoyed these garlands and all this sandalwood and many other things, paraphernalia. When we honor that paraphernalia, then vaso alankara charchitaha. So many decorations of Kṛṣṇa, when we honor that, Tava mayam jayemahi, we can easily conquer Maya. And some time back we were discussing, right, the curtain of Maya, Maya Javanika Channam, that will go away. The curtain will be removed, we will be able to see Kṛṣṇa. The curtain of Maya, curtain of ignorance, curtain of ego, thick layers of false ego and pride and arrogance are covering a typical conditioned soul. the process of uncovering the real Krishna consciousness of the soul is this bhakti yoga, by engaging one's senses in Krishna service. In the Mukunda Mala Stotra, Kulashekara Alvar says, very beautiful, Jihve kirtaya keshavam muraripum cheto bhaja sridharam panidvandva samarchaya katha shrutradvayatvam shrunu Krishnam lokaya locanadvaya harer gacchangri yugmalayam jighra ghrana mukunda pada tulasi mūrdhannamadhokshajam. Jihve kirtaya keshavam. With your jihva, with your tongue, glorify Keshava. Muraripum cheto bhaja. Within your mind, meditate on the glories of that Murari, one who has killed the Murari demon, who is guarding this Narakasura's fort. Jihve kirtaya keshavam muraripum cheto bhaja sridharam. Sridharam pani dvandva samarchaya. With your two hands, pani dvandva samarchaya. Right? You do nice worship of the Supreme Lord. Pani dvandva samarchaya. If you use this pani dvandva or shrotra dvandva or this charana dvandva in the service of Krishna, will be released from the dvandva, the dualities of this material world. What are the dualities of the material world? Sitoshna sukha dukkheshu tatha manapa manayoh. Sita and Ushna, heat and cold on the physical plane. Sukha and dukkha, happiness and distress on the mental plane. Man, apaman, respect and disrespect, honor and dishonor on the egoistic plane. At all planes, in the gross and subtle planes, we are experiencing dualities. Right? Physical, mental, egoistic, we are experiencing dualities. Many conditioned souls are subjected to all these dualities. To come out of these dualities, these dvandvas, pani dvandva samarchaya katha shrotradvayatvam shrunu. Use your two ears in hearing Harikatha, Achyuta Katha. Use your two hands in serving the Lord. Krishnam lokaya locanadvaya harer. Locanadvaya, we have to two eyes again. Krishnam lokaya, look at the beautiful form of Krishna. Krishnam lokaya locanadvaya harer gacchangri yugmalayam. With your 2 feet, walk to the temple of the Lord. Jighra ghrana mukunda pada tulasim. With your 2 nostrils, jighra ghrana, smell the tulasi leaves offered to the lotus feet of Krishna. Jighra ghrana mukunda pada tulasim mūrdhannamadhokshajam. With your one head, no 2 heads, with your one head, just bow down in front of Krishna. You know what is the glory of bowing down in front of Krishna? Argovardhan. Again, Mukunda Mala Stotra only. Our Kulashekara Alvar says, very beautiful shloka. He says, Yat Krishna pranipata dhuli dhavalam tadvarshma tadvaishira te netre tamasodhite suruchire yabhyam harir drishyate sa buddhir vimalendu shankha dhavala yamadhavadhyayini sa jihvamrita varshini pratipadam ya stauti narayanam. In this beautiful shloka he says, Yat Krishna pranipata dhuli dhavalam tadvarshma tadvaishiraha. That head that has become whitish, when you bow down in front of Giriraj or in front of any deity of Krishna, the dust on the ground will touch your head. Head will become whitish, right? That head is the best head. That head that becomes whitish by the touch of the dust of Dham, dust at the lotus feet of Krishna, when you are bowing down, is the best head. Yat Krishna pranipata dhuli dhavalam tadvarshma tadvaishiraha. Dhuli dhavalam. Dhavala is whitish. You may say, oh, dust is not always whitish. It can be brownish also. It's okay. Just understand the spirit of it. Sometimes dust is described as saffron dust. Whether it's brown or black or red or white, whatever it is, basically the dust should be on your head. Then it's the real head. Yat Krishna pranipata dhuli dhavalam tadvarshma tadvaishiraha Te netre tamasojjite suruchire yabhyam harirshrishyate. Te netre. When your eyes look at Krishna's beautiful form, all the tamas is completely destroyed. Te netre tamasojjite. When we are looking at material sense objects, or a young boy is looking at the beautiful form of the opposite gender, or a young girl is looking at the beautiful form of opposite gender, or any person looking at some material object with an enjoying spirit, that is a vision in ignorance. I want to enjoy this object, this sense object. Eyes first. Actually, in this all different 10 stages of lust, the first stage is chakshuraga. First eyes fall, eyes glance on a sense object. That's how it begins. Then there is a big process there, chakshuraga, chitta, sanga. We'll discuss some other time. But when eyes see a sense object, a materialistic person wants to enjoy that sense object. But when the eyes happen to see the beautiful form of Kṛṣṇa, we want to render service. Material beauty agitates the mind with a desire to enjoy selfishly. But spiritual beauty pacifies the mind and satisfies the mind and induces a desire in the mind to serve Kṛṣṇa. Many people see the beautiful form of Kṛṣṇa Balaram, Gauranga, Radha Kṛṣṇa, Radha Shyam Sundar on the altar. So when they see these beautiful divine spiritual forms, hands will come close to each other. We offer obeisances, we offer pranams, we desire to serve them. We desire to offer something from them. Please accept these flowers. But when the same eyes look at some material sense object, how can I enjoy it? How can I acquire it? How can I possess it? How can I make it my own? So material beauty agitates the mind. But spiritual beauty satisfies the mind and pacifies the mind and induces a desire to serve. And with that experience of seeing the beautiful form of Kṛṣṇa, when we see material objects, we feel like engaging those material objects in Kṛṣṇa's service. Right? First you look at Kṛṣṇa, then we'll develop some desires to serve Kṛṣṇa. And when we go in and see material objects, okay, how can I use this material object? When a materialistic person sees a flower, how can I enjoy it? How can I smell it? But when a devotee sees a flower, how can I offer it to Kṛṣṇa? It's like that. So, te netre tamasojjite suruchire yabhyam harirshrishyate. Harirshrishyate. When you see the beautiful form of Lord Hari, then that will induce a desire to serve. And we'll rise above tamasa. We'll rise above ignorance or false ego in this world. Sa buddhir vimalendu shankha dhavala yamadhavadhyayini. That buddhi, that intelligence that is constantly meditating on Lord Madhava is like vimalendu shankha dhavala. That buddhi, materialistic intelligence, which is constantly analyzing and planning and scheming how to acquire sense gratification, is not real buddhi. That's material buddhi. But that buddhi which is meditating on Lord Madhava's Nama Rupa Guna Leela is spiritual buddhi, and that buddhi is like Vimalendu Shankha Dhavala. Indu means moon. Moon has a lot of spots on it, isn't it? Moon has a lot of spots. But this Indu is Vimalendu, means spotless moon. Just imagine a moon that has absolutely no spots. Vimalendu. Shankha, you take a conch shell that is also pure white. So that buddhi which is meditating on Lord Madhava is like spotless moon, pure whitish moon, and pure white like that conch shell, right? Sa buddhir vimalendu shankha dhavala yamadhavadhyayini. So we need to do dhyana of Madhava and purify our mind, purify our intelligence. Sa jihvamrita varshini pratipadam yastauti narayanam. Stuti. Do stuti of Narayana. When you glorify Lord Narayana, Lord Kṛṣṇa, Lord Hari, Shyam Sundar, then every single word or syllable that comes out of your mouth is Amrita. Sa jihvamrita varshini pratipadam. That jihva which is emanating every padam which is a glorification of Kṛṣṇa is the real jihva. Jihva Amrita Varshini. When you are glorifying Krishna, your Jihva is just doing Varsha, just creating a big rain of Amrita. Sa Jihva Amrita Varshini Pratipadam Yastauti Narayanam. This is how we perfect our senses. Whether it is eyes or tongue or nose or hands or legs or whatever it is. Whether it is karmendriyas or jnanendriyas. When we engage them in Krishna's seva, then we will rise above this tamas. Now in this purport, towards the end, we discussed about how Krishna is transcendental, he is asamurdhva, and how we can connect with Krishna by using our non-transcendental senses in a transcendental way in spiritual activities. But towards the end, Krishna's causeless mercy is also highlighted in this purport. You see, there is no other entity in his supreme category, and thus it is simply by his causeless mercy that he agrees to carry out the orders of his pure devotees like Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj. The last paragraph of this purport. Krishna engages in all kinds of menial services in connection with his devotees. When devotees engage themselves completely in Krishna's service, the way we have discussed in the last few minutes, then Krishna takes great pleasure in engaging himself in the service of devotees. Aham bhakta paradhino hi asvatantra iva dvijaha. All the Pandavas, they are completely absorbed in Krishna. Just like we have 6 loving exchanges with other devotees, Pandavas had 6 loving exchanges with Krishna himself. Darshana sparsha samlapa shayanasana bhojanaihi. The first canto, 10th chapter describes Darshana, the Pandavas were seeing Krishna. Sparsha, touching Krishna. Samlapa, conversing with Krishna. Shayana, sleeping with Krishna. Asana, sitting with Krishna. Bhojanaihi, eating with Krishna. So these Pandavas are having 6 loving exchanges with Krishna directly. Everything that they do, everything that they think, everything is in connection with Krishna. How to serve Krishna effectively, that's what is their meditation. And although we are rendering such dedicated service to Krishna, sometimes Krishna may put his own devotees, the Pandavas, in different difficulties. Despite facing so many reversals and difficulties in their lives, Pandavas never lost their faith in Krishna. This is faithful service of Krishna, dedicated, unflinching faith. And to such unflinching devotees who are engaging their body, mind and words in Krishna's seva, Krishna reciprocates by offering himself to such devotees. Sarathya parishada sevana sakhya dautya vīrāsanānugamanastavana pranaman snigdheshu pandushu jagat pranatim cha vishnor bhaktim karoti nrpatischarana aravinde. Sarathya, Krishna played the role of a Sarathi. Parishada, he is also receiving Agrapuja in Rajasuya sacrifice. That's the context. This chapter, 74th chapter, Deliverance of Shishupal, is coming in the context of Rajasuya sacrifice. Sarathya Parishada Sevana, he is rendering service to his devotees. And I just close the book, you see this. Krishna is serving Sudama. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and he is a poor Brahmana. And Sudama also is feeling that I am such a fallen Brahmana, Brahmabandhu, but still Bahubhyam Parirambhitaha Kvaham Daridraha Papiyan Pa Kṛṣṇa Sriniketanah. I am a Daridra. I am poverty stricken, Papi. I am so sinful. Kvaham Daridraha Papiyan Pa Kṛṣṇa Sriniketanah. He is Sriniketana, residence of Goddess of Fortune, and Goddess of Fortune sitting right next to Krishna, and she is also engaging in service of Sudama. See, this is the honor that Krishna gives to his devotees. Not that a devotee aspires to have his feet washed by Krishna. That's never the devotee's aspiration. But from Krishna's side, Krishna is very enthusiastic to even offer himself. And by the way, if you look at this picture, it's not that Krishna is giving some formal guest reception. Krishna is playing the role of a human being, Kshatriya, prince. And Sudama is a Brahmana. Krishna is the host, Sudama is the guest. So it is an etiquette on the part of the host or on the part of a Kshatriya to honor a Brahmana guest. Is that what Krishna doing? No. If you look at this picture closely, Krishna has tears in his eyes. So when somebody is washing someone's feet or offering a garland or sandalwood pulp as a part of formality, or tradition or etiquette or convention, they will not have tears in their eyes. So Krishna's reception is filled with love. It's not a formality. It's not just mere external etiquette. It's not a superficial reception. He had tears in his eyes. So this is how Krishna reciprocates with his devotees. In the case of Pandava, Sarathya Parishada Sevana Sakhya Dautya. Sakhya, he's acting like a friend. Dautya, he's like a messenger. Going to give this message to our enemies. It's such a menial task, actually speaking. But Krishna did the job of a Dautya, messenger. Sevana, he's serving Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj. In this Rajasuya sacrifice, when this king Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj comes there in his chariot, and Krishna is coming in his chariot, Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj reached the palace and he was about to get down. Before even Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj got down, Krishna got down from his chariot and very swiftly, very fast, he came running towards Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj's chariot and opened the door and assisted him, please get down. That's the respect that Krishna gave to Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj. He's Maharaj. I'm not a Maharaj. Krishna is not Maharaj. He is Maharaj definitely. But he never sat on the throne, either of Hastinapur or Dwaraka or Mathura. Actually, Mathura, anyways, that's a very elaborate story. I will not get into that. But basically, Krishna is very eager to serve his devotees. He reciprocates with the love and affection of his devotees. Krishna has unlimited qualities, unlimited opulences. He is the creator, maintainer, destroyer, and he is the palanakarta, poshanakarta of all the living entities in all the universes. He is the origin of millions of universes. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mattaha sarvam pravartate. But although Krishna has unlimited opulences, the greatest opulence of Krishna is in his intention and ability and enthusiasm to reciprocate with the love of his devotees. Of all the powers and opulences and qualities of Krishna, the highest or topmost quality is Krishna's quality of reciprocating with the love and affection of his devotees. Krishna's mercy, causeless mercy towards his devotees is his topmost opulence. And coming to the soul may have so many qualities, so many talents, so many skills. The soul may accomplish many things. But of all the things that a spirit soul can do, the best and the highest and the topmost thing that a spirit soul can do is to reciprocate with Krishna's mercy and to receive Krishna's grace. So our greatest ecstasy lies in receiving Krishna's grace. He is causelessly compassionate upon us and is offering it to all of us. Please take it, take this Krishna mercy, Krishna prema, Krishna kripa, Krishna nam. And the greatest potential of a soul is to grab that mercy, receive that mercy. Krishna's highest opulence is to offer mercy, and the soul's highest opulence to receive that mercy. And when this happens at the utmost extent, then Krishna prema is in action. Right? So Krishna loves to serve his devotees. Sarathya parishada sevana sakhya dautya virasananugamanastavana pranaman snigdheshu pandushu jagat pranatim cha vishnor bhaktim karoti nrupatischarana aravinde. Snigdheshu pandushu, because Pandavas are always malleable by the will of Krishna. Because Pandavas are always malleable to the will of Krishna, Krishna is malleable to their will. Yes, let us be malleable to my devotees' needs. They want a messenger now to go to Duryodhan? Okay, let me go to Duryodhan and negotiate with him. Krishna knows Duryodhan will never agree with a peaceful negotiation. Knowing that you will fail, you are doing it to please his devotees. See what is the glory of Krishna. Devotees, knowing that they will fail, they will take up an activity to serve Krishna. Right? Just one small point towards the end. Bhishma knows he will be defeated in Kurukshetra war. Still, Bhishma fought with full enthusiasm on the side of adharma, only to be defeated by Arjuna. When you know that you will succeed in Krishna's service, with full dedication serving Krishna is easier. But knowing that you will attain failure by acting as an instrument in Krishna's service, still you do that service with full dedication, that's not an ordinary bhakti. Bhishma knows he will be defeated, but still he fought because Kṛṣṇa wanted him to fight on that side. Vritrasura knows he will definitely be defeated by Indra's Vajrayudha, but still Vritrasura fought with full enthusiasm. In fact, he is motivating, he is inspiring Indra also. Fight, fight. Please throw that thunderbolt on me. Don't hesitate. Please throw. I want to be killed by you. Knowing that he will die, he is fighting because Kṛṣṇa wanted him to fight. So, are we enthusiastic enough to act as instruments of Kṛṣṇa, knowing that we will fail? Actually, failure on a material plane is not a failure. And success on material plane is not success also. Right? Whether it is success or failure on a material plane, it's ultimately failure in one sense. But if you happen to serve Kṛṣṇa, even if you fail on a material plane, it's not a failure. It is success. The success is in acting as instrument in Kṛṣṇa's service and not attaining success or failure on a material plane. In Kṛṣṇa's service, there is no failure, there is only success. In dealings with Maya, in enjoying material world, there is only failure, there is no success. On the material plane, distress is distress, happiness is also distress. On the spiritual plane, happiness is happiness, distress is also happiness. That is the difference between spiritual realm and material realm. That's a difference between definitions of success and failure and material plane and spiritual plane. So Kṛṣṇa knows he will fail. Not just fail, Duryodhana tried to arrest Kṛṣṇa, bind Kṛṣṇa when he went for peaceful negotiations. Still Kṛṣṇa went as a messenger of Pandavas. Whatever happens, I must be act as an instrument of my devotees' will, or I must try to serve devotees. That is Kṛṣṇa's nature. Aham bhakta paradhino hi asvatantra iva dvijaha. Kṛṣṇa agreed to be bound by Mother Yashoda. Yashoda Mother tried to bind Kṛṣṇa. There is a painting. And Kṛṣṇa knows that he will be bound, and he was caught. He voluntarily caught. Kripayasi svabandhane. He voluntarily agreed to be bound by Mother Yashoda. Thus Kṛṣṇa likes to be subservient of devotee's love because a devotee is always subservient of Kṛṣṇa's love. So we need to take our baby steps by doing our sadhana bhakti, by engaging our senses in Kṛṣṇa's service, and eventually come to a platform where we voluntarily and willingly act as instruments in Kṛṣṇa's hands and thus please him and thus derive the ultimate spiritual satisfaction. So these are a few thoughts on this shloka. Thank you very much. I beg forgiveness if I said anything inappropriate or inaccurate. Many senior devotees are sitting here. With my humble obeisances to all of you, I conclude here. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupāda ki jai. Prabhu, any Maharaj, or questions, or reflections, or corrections? Mataji, you want to share something? Kalini Mataji. Mataji, you have some comments, Mataji? Okay. Right. Yes, Prabhu. You had a comment there. How much time do we have, Prabhu? 5 minutes. 5 minutes, yes, Prabhu.
Thank you for class. नहीं हो रहा है. Thank you for class. Prabhuji, Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj was very much on path of righteousness. Why he involved himself in gambling? Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj was very much on the path of righteousness. Why he himself involved in the gambling?
Gambling?
Yes.
Oh, okay. The question is, Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj is such a exalted devotee of Kṛṣṇa. He is a knower of all dharmas. But why did he participate in this gambling match? The answer is, he was ordered. Dhritarashtra had sent a message with Vidura. So Vidura went to Indraprastha and invited Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj and Pandavas for this gambling match with Kauravas, with Duryodhana and party. Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj said, no, I am not inclined to gamble. How can we participate in this dice game or gambling match with our own relatives, because gambling is such a vyasana, it will completely spoil our relationships. We should not do it. But Vidura said, this is the exact statement I also spoke to Dhritarashtra, but Dhritarashtra never heard, because Duryodhana is pushing him, instigating him with Shakuni's instigation. Shakuni is pushing Duryodhana, Duryodhana is pushing Dhritarashtra, Dhritarashtra is pushing Vidura, Vidura is inviting Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj. Yudhiṣṭhira had to agree. Yudhiṣṭhira gambled only out of his submissiveness or obedience to his elder Dhritarashtra, whom he thought is on my fatherly plane. He's like my father. Although Dhritarashtra never considered Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj or Pandavas his sons. Mamakaha Pandavas Chaiva. They are Pandu sons, they are my sons. But Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj always respected Dhritarashtra as a father. When king says, gamble, okay, let me gamble. And even after reaching Hastinapur also, in front of this dice, Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj again said, I think we should not gamble. Duryodhan, please, let's not gamble. And he looked at his elders. He looked at Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra was silent. He did not speak a single word. Then Yudhiṣṭhira understood they expected me to gamble. So the Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj gambled not out of his enthusiasm or excitement. He gambled only out of obligation and obedience to elders. Thank you very much. We'll conclude here. Many questions, Prabhu said, it's time up. We can discuss one to one. Thank you very much. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.